Okay, so clearly I did not get my video out on Thursday evening this week, but better late than never. And I want to speak about the concept of judgment and how generally when we think about being judged, judging others, judgment, there's always this really negative connotation. You're so judgmental, stop judging me. And this idea that when we judge, it's always harsh. It's always coming from, a place where we want to see the negative, where we're not really understanding the whole picture, which is really ironic, of course, because judgment is intended to be something objective and something balanced and what is going to provide us with the true understanding of what is happening. So we're told in this week's Torah portion, first of all, there's the whole concept, that justice you shall pursue, that we're supposed to be after justice, and therefore we need to judge and be judged accordingly and properly. So, hey, Pam. So when it comes then to this idea of this Torah portion, which is called Shoftim, which is judges, we are speaking in the kind of general sense that we need to appoint judges. It says at all of the gates in our cities. Fine, so there's this idea that there needs to be official judges. And there are qualifications to every judge according to Judaism. And there's actually 7 qualifications that every judge needs to have. And depending on where this judge is serving and at what level, there may be other ones as well. But the 7 primary ones are that the person needs to have wisdom, needs to have humility, there needs to be awe of God, awe of one's creator, that we're not the be all and end all, that there's something greater than us. There has to be a loathing for money, and that includes one's own money, that cannot be the motivation behind it. A loathing of money and yet a love of truth, a love for all people, and a good reputation. So when we're talking about judges in general, that makes perfect sense. We would want our Supreme Court to be made up of people like this. We would want all of the judges who are going to be viewing cases to have these qualifications. And yet it applies very much to ourselves as well, because we are told that there are 7 gates to the human body. And since every gate needs to have a judge, that's how the Torah portion begins, that at the gates of all the cities, we need to appoint judges. So the 7 gates, according to the Shoftim Kohen, that we have, that every body is comprised of these 7 gates, are our 2 eyes, our 2 ears, our 2 nostrils, and our mouth. And for anybody who has been watching my videos, when I spoke at Hanukkah and then again in the Torah portion speaking about the menorah that was lit in the temple, which was a 7-branched menorah, I explained that we have almost like these lights. What does the menorah do? It needs to illuminate. So these lights are also referred to as these gates. And yet with the menorah, how if we were to actually draw on our face would form the menorah. So the 2 ears to the chin are the outer branches. I remember I did this. I was actually holding something, so I couldn't quite do it. Now I can do my visual. The 2 ears are the outer branches. The 2 eyes are the next 2 branches. The 2 nostrils, the next 2 branches. And the mouth, the innermost branch of that menorah. And that's our 7-branched menorah. But these are also, according to the Shoftim Kohen, called the 7 gates. And each one of these gates needs a judge. And who is that judge? None other than ourselves. We need to judge, but we need to judge with the 7 qualifications of a judge. That we have a love for people. Let's start at the beginning. We have wisdom, that we're motivated by wisdom when we are judging. And this, by the way, is judging ourselves and judging others, because 2 eyes, one that looks inside at ourselves, one that is looking out at others. 2 ears, one that is hearing internally and one that is hearing what's going on outside of ourselves. the nostrils, both what we breathe in, what we take in to give us life, and what we breathe out, what we, are able to blow out both through the mouth and through the nostrils, but to give life to others. And then the idea of one mouth, and I'm not getting into why that's only one, but this idea that they all need to have proper and healthy judgment. So there needs to be wisdom, there needs to be humility, there needs to be this awe of our Creator, there needs to be a loathing for just superficiality and materiality, there needs to be a love of truth and a love for people and a good reputation. And that is when we are judging ourselves, because we are usually our harshest judges and our most critical when it comes to looking at ourselves. If we need a love for people, it means we need to love ourselves. You can't judge and you can't be judgmental on yourself if you don't love yourself. And you certainly can't be judging others if you don't have a love for them. And that's actually why we always read this Torah portion in the month of Elul, in the month preparing for Rosh Hashanah and for all the high holidays, because this is how we want to work on ourselves. We want to examine these 7 qualities. We want to make sure we have proper judges at these gates. And we want to be thinking, how do I want to be seen? How do I want to see the world around me? What do I want to hear? How do I want to be heard? Right? How do I want to express myself? How do I want to be spoken to? And how do I want to speak to others? And all of these qualities need to be rectified and worked on and transformed and done in a way where they are balanced and where they are objective and where that judgment is true justice and coming from a healthy place and a righteous place. And with that, we should only have positive judgments when we look at others and ourselves. And likewise, that's how others should be looking and judging us. So with that, wow, Betsy, I haven't seen you in so long. Okay, have a beautiful Shabbos, and we'll be in touch next week. Good Shabbos.